Chapter 7. The second vault door didn't swing open so much as it surrendered, emitting a low, pneumatic groan that vibrated right into the roots of Arthur's teeth. Beyond it lay a space so impossibly vast it swallowed the heavy, booming echo of the steel ceiling shut behind him. It was a cavernous, vaulted hangar that smelled of ozone, sterile floor polish, and the faint, coppery tang of suppressed electricity. In the dead centre of the room, under a ring of cold, dim surgical lights, hung a massive curtain of heavy-duty, milky white plastic. It looked like the thick visqueen contractors used for asbestos removal or a containment tent in a Level 4 biohazard ward. Through the frosted, opaque material, Arthur could just make out the blurred, hard edges of something resting inside, a dormant leviathan wrapped in a plastic shroud. Stepping onto the bare metal floor was like stepping barefoot onto a sheet of dry ice. The cold chewed right through the thin rubber soles of his shoes. With every step, Arthur's heart hammered a frantic, suffocating rhythm against his ribs. The paranoid part of his brain, the rational, fragile human part, was screaming at him. It swore that any second the klaxons would shriek, floodlights would pin him to the floor like a moth on a corkboard, and men in tactical gear would turn his chest cavity into a sieve before zipping him into a heavy black body bag. But then came the itch. It pulsed from the back of his skull, a warm, almost narcotic wave that washed over his terror. The signal from the lunar artifact was stronger here, a localized gravity well pulling him forward. It bypassed his logic and whispered directly to his soul with an absolute, terrifying certainty. "You are safe. It is working. Come home." It was a psychic anesthetic, overriding his deeply ingrained survival instincts. Even so, he tried to tread softly, wincing as his shoes let out loud, rhythmic clacks that bounced off the curved ceiling of the cathedral-like silence. He was walking toward the prize. From the hushed, terrified whispers he'd collected like pennies over the years, Arthur knew what waited behind that curtain. It wasn't just a machine. It was the absolute standard of standards, the true apex of speculative engineering. It was a piece of technology so structurally and operationally flawless that the very concept of an upgrade was biologically laughable. And he, Arthur Staneston, a mid-level nobody, was about to look upon its naked face. He timed this with the desperate, sweaty precision of a dead man walking. His insider tips, scraps of schedule data he'd gleaned from careless chatter in Breakroom 4B, dictated that this hangar was a ghost town between 1900 and 2100 hours. Right now, the senior boffins and white smock elites were shuffling on to the unmarked Janet flights, heading back to the neon glow of Vegas for stiff drinks and uneasy sleep. The brass relied on the outer shell of their paranoia. They figured if the armed guards, the heavy water abyss and the psychic jammers didn't keep you out, the sheer crushing impossibility of infiltrating Level 7 would. No one ever made it this far. The security was so impenetrably thick, it had become a blind spot. They didn't patrol the inner sanctum because they believed the inner sanctum was unreachable. Arthur finally reached the hanging plastic. Up close it smelled sharply of industrial vinyl and static charge. He ran a trembling hand along the cold, slick surface, circling the perimeter of the makeshift tent, his breath hitching in his chest as he searched for the seam. He was looking for the way in.